Let's talk about the Giants. I got 3 action items, 3 bullet points, 3 talking points. The first of which is this Saquon Barkley debacle, which I don't think is really a debacle. I think more, and you'll notice this from the article that I have read and digested. They had The Athletic had Randy Mueller, the former GM of the Saints and Dolphins, and Joel Corey, who was an agent for top athletes in his 16-year career. They provided insights on how the sides can walk through this high-stakes tightrope in which both parties are satisfied. Let's do a quick recap. Giants offered Barkley a multi-year extension during the team's bye week last November and had an average annual value of $12.5 million, according to a league source. And then the sides weren't really that close coming out of those negotiations, so they were tabled until after the season. That's understandable. No reason to panic. Giants upped their offer to Barkley to $13 million per year. After the season, Barkley declined. And within 6 minutes of hitting the open market, we signed DJ to that big ass deal that got everyone's panties in a bunch, and we used a franchise tag on Barkley. And that's going to cost us around $10 million for 2023 if he plays. At the NFL owners meeting in March, that was where there were no outstanding offers to Barkley. There have been no details on the structure of the offer, meaning like how much is guaranteed, incentives, bonuses per game, all that good stuff, all the little bells and whistles that make deals so great. In most of the deals that Shane has done, he has guaranteed roughly 50% of the total contract value, right? And Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, and Nick Chubb all received guarantees in that ballpark with their recent extensions. So it doesn't feel that far off. It like as much as people are making this chasm out to be the Grand Canyon. Like, they're never going to come to terms. Look how far away. Like, they're on the opposite sides of the goddamn globe. And it's like, I don't know. I don't think it's as bad as everyone's making it out to seem. And I think it's just the off season. And like, we need to talk about something. So let's just talk about let's make it as dramatic as fuck. Because that'll get clicks and all that nonsense. And it's like, I think he signs. I think he plays. Either way, we could. What's crazy to me is that we could tag him in 2024 again for $12 million. And given how the market has played out, the running backs, a lot of people are saying that Barkley's agent overplayed her hand, and that I don't see the Giants going back. It would be a slap in the face if they go back and say like, okay, we're going to give you less than what we gave you initially. We're going to offer you less. I don't think that's the way to approach things, but things have changed a little bit with them extending Dexter Lawrence and possibly looking to extend another player who we'll get to in a little bit. But the consensus is that Barkley's leverage is minimal. So it behooves him to get a deal done. And it's like, I think publicly he has stated he wants to play for the Giants long-term. He wants a long-term extension. The Giants have said they want a long-term extension. So we're both on the same page. John Mara, who carries a lot of influence as the owner, says he wants Barkley to be a lifelong Giant. So it's like everyone's got we're all on the same page. And even though, so that's why it's so weird to say they're not even close. And I guess Shane pulled his offer. I don't know, I think that's more of I guess that's a weird move. It's like posturing. He wants to set a precedent for negotiations in that, like, this feels like we're overextending ourselves a bit to accommodate you, and you're saying we're not even close. Like, that's, okay. I just think a deal gets done. And even if it doesn't, like, what does it make sense? So like would Barkley really like not play? Just hold out? After all, like we accomplished last year, turning the tides, the momentum, it's a sea change. Like, you went through all hell to get to this point, and now you want to, like, why would you want to jump ship? So they haven't told July 17th to agree to a long-term extension, but he can be forced to play on the tag this season, which I don't think he can be forced to play. It's like, I don't think he can play anywhere else, right? But what if he doesn't sign the tag? This is where the tag like gets the rules get it. I go cross-eyed trying to think about these rules, but I think if we don't get a deal done, it stinks, but isn't that just extra incentive for Barkley to ball out and then increase his interest in him in the market? I don't know. Personally, I think it's a matter of maybe we do. Maybe Shane does budge a little bit more on the guarantee money because I think that's what matters most. But it really is becoming like this jigsaw puzzle, or the like trying to like move like, and we're gonna get into it with the salary cap. Mets just lost 7-2. Cool. So this is another article from The Athletic. Giants have breathing room, but they'll need more cap space. Here's how they create it. So we didn't really maximize our cap savings in 2023 with the Dexter Lawrence extension. We have $6.1 million in cap space, and we only need roughly around $2.5 million to account for our draft class, right? So after assigning our draft picks, we'll need to create at least $5 million in cap space just to function through the season. But realistically, we'll have to probably double that, because guys go on injured reserve, need to be replaced, and there'll need to be in-season additions and whatnot. So how do we do that? How do we create the space? We have a few options. I probably should have ordered it from most likely to least likely, or most preferred to least preferred. I didn't. Maybe. First and foremost, the extension that we talked about with Saquon Barkley. If we can get that in place, it could lower his the tag hit, which would be $10 million. And so we could lower that to $5 million for 2023 hit, and then we could gain almost $3 million in cap savings by cutting cornerback Darnay Holmes. And considering all the competition we have and all the young talent we have in the secondary, that seems pretty likely. Again, bittersweet with Darnay Holmes. There are plays where it's like I absolutely love the dude, and then other plays where I'm just like, oh dear God. So would he be sorely missed? Whew, it's tough to say. And we'll have to find out, and it might be the cost of finding out. But we could also extend or restructure players with large base salaries. So that's Leo, Leonard Williams, cornerback Adoree Jackson. So those are probably leaning more towards restructures. And then we could extend left tackle Andrew Thomas. There is reportedly less urgency since Thomas is signed through 2024 on the 5th-year option, but it could provide immediate cap benefits since an extension could reduce his $10.3 million cap hit in 2023. However, Houston's Laramie Tunsil reset the left tackle market with a 3-year, $75 million extension in March. So that's something that we got to, it's like, it really is a year-by-year thing. Juggling chainsaws. It's like, well, we can probably do this, this, and this, and this to get under the 2023 cap, but then we're going to have to do just as many moves or more to get under the 2024 cap. So that's a problem for future me and future Joe Shane. The other one was interesting because they just made this deal, but they could, I guess, restructure Daniel Jones' contract. It's one of those things where like I think they were rushing to get him signed, and like the general numbers were kind of agreed to, like this is what we're aiming for, and if you can get to that, great. And they got it in right before the deadline so they could then franchise tag Saquon Barkley. But now, and it feels weird since they just signed the contract, but they could restructure the contract already. So that also seems likely, and maybe more likely than restructuring Williams or Leo or Adoree. So there are options, and we hopefully we won't need that whatever $10 million in space to replace all these dudes on injured reserve. Let's not, hey, let's not have 15 to 20 dudes on injured reserve. How does that sound? Sounds like a plan.